Lab Chat.
Hello and welcome to the third episode of Lab Chat, coming to you from the LEA Theatre in Second Life. I'm Jo Yardley.
And I'm Saffia Widdershins, and we're here today to put your questions to three key people from Linden Lab. Ebbe Altberg, also known as Ebbe Linden, the CEO of Linden Lab, the company behind Second Life, and the new Sansar project. Linden, who's the engineering director of Second Life, and Troy Linden, senior producer.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Before we get to the main part of the show today, we'd like to tell you a little about the venue that we're sitting in. This is the LEA Theatre, part of the Linden Endowment for the Arts Regions, which is a Linden Lab donated estate that's managed by residents for the promotion and development of the arts in Second Life. There are 29 regions in total, of which 20 host artists in residence, 6-month-long programmes that give the artists the opportunity to develop region-wide projects and installations.
The other 9 contain a sandbox, a welcome centre, a weekly photo hunt, this theatre, and a variety of more community-based installations that have a 3-month tenure. There's always something happening or to be explored on the Linden Endowment for the Arts. Just opening the world map and choosing an LEA group of regions will take you somewhere fascinating, and I do hope people watching here today will take the opportunity to explore after the programme.
Currently, grants are open for the 20 regions to host artists in residence for the next 6 months. You can find out details of how to apply for both the artists in residence regions and the core sims by going to the website www.lea-sl.org and looking under programmes.
But now, back to the business of the show.
These questions have been asked by the residents of Second Life in a special forum on the Second Life site. And we're joined by Linden and Troy Linden, in addition to Ebbe Linden, because we're going to be looking in some detail at Project Bento and various technical issues that have been raised. But I should mention that our transcribers have pleaded that we shouldn't use technical terms on this show because they have to write them all down for the audience.
Yep. There were over 60 questions asked in the forum about Second Life, about Project Bento, and about Sansar. And sadly, we only have time on the show for a fraction of those. So we're talking to the lab about ways in which some of the other questions can be answered.
The questions on this show were selected by the whole Lab Chat team. During the show, if you in the audience have any questions, type them in chat and we'll try to ask them if we have time. Or you can send them directly to Marianne McCann, who's scribing for us. And thank you to Marianne for doing that.
Yes. And we've invited those who asked questions to join us on the show, and you will be hearing from some of them later in the show. The rest of the questions will be asked by me or Saffia.
We have shortened some of the questions a little for clarity. You can read all the questions in full on the forums.
Yes, and we're going to start with some questions concerning Project Bento, which some people have said could be as much as a game changer for Second Life as the coming of Mesh. We're also going to break a little from tradition here and say that if any of you have questions specific to Project Bento, we'll try to take those immediately after our scripted questions, so we can discuss Bento at the same time.
So, to start with, Devon Vaughan asks, how will creators make poses and animations for the new bones, wings, fingers, facial expressions, etc.? He notes that in the past on the Second Life wiki, there was a downloadable figure rigged for Poser, and there are also programs like QAvimator. What tools will creators have for Bento to make content?
So I could take that question. Well, first off, thanks again for having us. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to kind of talk about the new exciting projects that we're actually going to be putting out here relatively soon. So I wanted to say the Project Bento, from the start, we wanted to make this really a community effort. We always love to pick the brains of our residents to find out, what kinds of things are important to them, et cetera. And then we, go back to the lab and start thinking about, whether or not we can actually pull it off. So to answer the question, the different types of programs, when we originally set out, we reached out to the community and we said, hey, look, we're thinking about putting this project together. We'd like to reach out to the creator community to see, what kinds of things are available out there to the public. And the folks at MayaStar and Avastar, whom actually created a plugin for Blender and Maya, came back and responded to our sort of request to get people to participate. And we've actually been working with them a great deal since the beginning. And we're happy to say that as far as, the different types of tools, animation programs, et cetera, you will be able to use their plugins to create animation content for Bento.
And that sort of connects to the next question Devin asked. He said, will there be any in-world tools for Bento post-animation creation? So will these also work in-world?
At this point, Second Life doesn't have any in-world animation creation tools, and we aren't attempting to add them as part of this. Instead, as Troy said, we've tried to leverage the ecosystem of good compatible tools that are already out there and make sure that they could be updated to work with the new project and support it and provide users the excellent capabilities that they've already got, so that we could focus on building the things that are really specific to the inside of Second Life.
And again from Devon, will the animations for Bento have the ability to animate or pose separately? For example, a Bento facial smile that affects no other body part, a wing animation that animates only the wings, a finger pose that only poses the fingers. And also will, on the other side of the coin, I think, will poses and animations for Bento have the option for full body animation? So,
yeah, absolutely. I do want to just clarify for a second that Second Life already does support isolating animations to certain parts. And, Bento, it really is no different. What we've introduced here are just more joints to animate.
That's a very simple way of putting it, because you can do some wonderful things with it, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen a lot of really cool things just from the short time we've been testing this thing. Some of the crafty things that the creators have come up with, it's just literally blown us away.
Yeah, we were showing some of the slides of Bento earlier, and there were pictures of dragons and dragon wings rigged, which was just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, even before Bento, we've seen that people have attempted to affix things like wings and such onto their avatars, but with Bento now you can actually animate them, which really does bring it to life. And
people are making use of them for all sorts of things that are less obvious than that. For example, we had one creator who's been very active with us who used the wing bones to make to animate the big floppy ears on an elephant avatar, and it made it just incredibly realistic. It was just amazing.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. I can't wait to see this.
Dumbo. NVZN asks, in relation to that, would it be possible to record face-hand performances on the server side to store as reusable animations without the need to use a third-party recording tool, with being able to record a performance in world and in context as a key?
We're not anticipating trying to do anything like that right now. No.
Okay.
Fascinating idea.
Yeah, absolutely, because we have so many, in-world shows which are often a combination of all sorts of animations and moves. So if you could sort of record that and implement it. It'd be quite interesting.
I think there's ways of recording moves as is, because we certainly use it in things like we used it in the Black and Mirror with Rescene. So presumably the new Project Bento animations would just fit into that the way current ones do. Anyway, moving on to the next question. Karina Zangsun asks, will any of the work on new bones in Project Bento be incorporated into the default system avatar? She's interested especially in the facial bones being incorporated into the dual default system head so that one can retain personalized facial appearance while having the enhanced expression that Project Bento seems to provide.
Right. So all avatars in Second Life have the same skeleton. So in fact, once Bento is released generally, everyone will have all of those bones. At this point in the project, we're not anticipating that that when we release it fully, we will have re-rigged the system avatar's skin to be rigged to the facial skin to be rigged to those facial expression bones. So they'll be very useful for replacement mesh heads that are rigged to them, not necessarily existing ones that are not yet rigged to them. But we don't plan on, initially at least, doing the system avatar skin re-rigging. We would risk modifying the appearance of existing avatars, and so we're just not going to take that on just yet. Whether or not we'll experiment with it in the future is still a matter for speculation and study.
Thank you. The next question comes from Cube Republic and can relate, we feel, to Project Bento, although it has wider implications. Will there be, or are there any plans to introduce animated mesh into Second Life? From my limited technical knowledge, I'm pretty sure this may well save bandwidth. A use example may be a pet that has animated limbs rather than multiple meshes that use alpha swap for fake movement. Surely a single mesh containing animation data will be lighter on bandwidth than streaming multiple objects.
So, I can't speak on whether or not we're planning on introducing animated mesh to SL per se and the bandwidth savings, but I can tell you that with Bento, it does make it easier to do, say, partial rigging, for example. So a mesh might only be rigged to a few of the avatar bones, and they can use those bones to make animated pet attachments, for example. We've actually seen people, as Oz mentioned in our user group meetings that we host once a week, people show up with just random stuff. And one time, one of the residents actually showed up with a pet. I think it was a bat flying around, where they attached. What they did was they attached that rig to one of the bones, and although it doesn't appear to be attached because it's a separate. It appears to be a separate object, but under the hood, it's attached to one of those bones, and they actually had that pet bat flying around them, hovering around them. So. It's really cool. I mean, what we've done and how the residents have managed to use those capabilities is just continues to just blow us away. So we can't wait to see what other people do with it.
Excellent.
Can I ask what time and location of your meetings, in case people here would like to go and find out more?
So this Bento user group meeting, we meet once a week. It is Thursday at 1 p.m. SL time, and I have to get back to you on the location, but it is on the Aditi testing grid. But yeah, if anybody's interested in that, please reach out to any one of us here, and I'll be happy to provide that.
Brilliant. Now, I was going to ask, does anyone in the audience have any questions about Bento? Marianne McCann sent a message. There are in-world project products like AnyPose that do animate avatars but might need bones to be scriptable. and asks on Project Bento, will any attempts be made to have the new bones scriptable in any way for the use in user-created animation rigs like any pose?
I'm not familiar with that or how it works. We're not at this point anticipating adding any scripting capability that's specific to the new bones.
Okay. Yes, Echo Zong has raised the points. If it were hoping that it would be possible to have bento meetings at a more Asia-friendly hour. Perhaps a couple of the meetings could be held at an Asia-friendly hour.
You know, that's been a challenge from us from the start. You know, we deal with people from all around the world. You know, Australia, UK, both the east and west coast of United States, and even Singapore, Hong Kong. That seemed to be the time that worked best for everybody. But I'm more than happy to try to accommodate if there's any other people that are interested. We can certainly try to adjust that. Sure. Maybe if anybody here is interested, can try to make it to next Thursday's meeting, and then let's raise that question, and then I can take I can take account all the different people and the new people that are going to join us, and yeah, we'll certainly try to accommodate that.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Right, next question was sent in by Cam Mode, which is, by the way, a brilliant name. He asks, with mesh sizes and outfits, inventory counts are climbing. While some people have tiny inventories, others of us keep, shop, collect, or build cities like I do. Can we have tools inside inventory to try and manage it, sort of?
And Cam adds, greatly appreciate recent years' inventory dependability. Items being lost forever are now way down. I wanted to get this in because I am so with Cam on this. It's brilliant how stable inventory can be. But having tools to streamline but keep existing items would be welcome, such as ways to remove duplicate textures and unmodded duplicate items.
I'm on 60,000 at the moment.
We're not talking about mine.
Yes, let's not.
60,000 isn't that bad. At the moment, we're still very much focused on continuing the improvements in inventory robustness that we've been making, and we very much appreciate that people have noticed and are seeing the difference. That's been a big effort. We're continuing to dig very hard to try to fix existing problems. One of the things that's going to be coming out over just the next few weeks is some changes to the protocols between the viewer and the back-end inventory system. We'll be removing support over the next couple of months for some of the older, more fragile mechanisms, and making sure that everything is beginning to transition to using to the newer and more robust methods, so that we can continue to make the whole system more reliable. Better inventory management interfaces and tools are a terrific idea, and that's an excellent example, since it's essentially a viewer-only problem for third-party viewer contributors to contribute to us. We'll be more than happy to review proposals for better inventory management tools and incorporate them into the main code base.
Nice.
That sounds excellent.
Now, the next question is a perennial topic, but with a sort of a new slant. Blue Trianon asks, the newer welcome and social islands are really very nice, and I particularly enjoyed the combination of short videos and interactive components. Will we see similar edutainment type experiences aimed at more advanced users?
So yeah, I think the short answer is yes. What we've tested so far with the new user experiences, including those created by the community, the tests are coming back very positive, and we're seeing that a lot of people are enjoying the new the new features, and ways to improve. So, if we're hearing that is something that is welcomed and is working for everybody, we'll absolutely love to include that in future versions and expand on that.
Excellent.